President Trump says he could soon order new strikes if Iran misbehaves, adding that he will now review the details of Iran's latest proposal.
Doing very well with regard to Iran. Again, they want to make a deal. They told me about the concept of the deal. They're going to give me the exact wording now.
President Trump doubling down this weekend on his red line of rejecting any uranium enrichment inside Iran.
We're in a war because I think you would agree we cannot let lunatics have a nuclear weapon. Do you agree?
That's quite a reaction at Florida's friendliest hometown to stop lunatics from having a nuclear weapon. For more, let's bring in Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman. Senator Fetterman, thank you so much for being here. I want to start with the newest thing. President Trump spent part of last night leafing through some new Iran peace plan. He says, "I will soon be reviewing the plan that Iran has just sent to us, but can't imagine that it would be acceptable and that they have not yet paid a big enough price for what they've done to humanity and the world over the last 47 years. What do you think, Senator Fetterman? Has Iran paid a big enough price yet?
Well, I mean, I just watched that clip that you brought me into here, and every single Democrat would have clapped for that too. It wasn't that long ago. Every single Democrat says we can't let those lunatics, have a nuclear bomb. That's not a shocking view for a Democrat. But I've become the only Democrat in the entire Congress that have supported epic fury. There is a truth. It's a truth. Iran can't ever have a nuclear bomb. Another truth is they were committed to building one, and they were close to actually achieving that goal. I think it was entirely the right thing, just like Midnight Hammer a year ago. And here we are right now. No, Iran hasn't paid an appropriate price because the price for me, is denying them nuclear ambitions and also making sure they don't have the kind of missiles that could reach Europe or American assets in the region now too. We agree? We can't let Iran have those kinds of capabilities. And that's here we are. We're at the cusp. And that's why I'm the only Democrat that says that's entirely appropriate.
And because that is what makes you the most interesting Democrat elected in either the House or the Senate, because you are willing to break with your party's leadership. Do you think
that's a low bar? That's a low bar.
Well, you cleared it. But do you think that President Trump should keep going until the Iranians come back to the negotiating table?
I mean, I love that he's strangling the Iranian economy right now and blocking the strait. Iran thought that they had their trump card to block the strait. Well, we were able to remind them, no, we run this show, we run it, and now we've blocked it, and now they live on oil, and now we are choking off their entire lifeblood. I support that, and if it's required to bring in, more kinetic strikes, I support that too. Destroying the Iranian military and the Iranian regime, I think we should all agree that that's a noble goal.
And you talked about a low bar for elected Democrats right now. There's somebody in Maine who is a Democrat for Senate. His name is Graham Plattner, most famous for having to cover up a Nazi tattoo and for describing himself on Reddit as both a communist and a socialist. And he just said this.
Yeah, don't forget
that my politics are too radical, I find somewhat laughable.
So he says laughable. Are you laughing? Are the other Democrats in the Senate laughing at the prospect of having this communist and socialist joining you guys at the weekly Democratic Senator lunch?
Yeah, I'm not. He's described himself as a communist. He actually, you left on that list, he's Antifa. Yes. That's too. And now he just, all cops are bastards. And now people like that lurk online, and they actually celebrate the Hamas, killing Israeli soldiers too. The kind of person that has a Nazi tattoo a guy that absolutely seems to identify with parts of those kinds of people. And here we are right now. I mean, he is the ultimate toy chest for the Republicans to campaign against him. And that's not smears, though. It's using his own words and his own views that he was very proud of those things.
I want to move on to something else. You have voted so far to confirm about half the Trump cabinet, and there's a new name floating around to fill some of the openings that they've got, this time from Florida. We've got a bite.
Would you consider Ron DeSantis for a cabinet position?
Well, I like him a lot. So I like him a lot.
It was kind of hard to hear there over the whir of the helicopter engine, but would you consider backing Ron DeSantis for a cabinet job?
I'm not sure what he's up for the job, but I voted for some of those members of the cabinet because, like Marco Rubio, I think he's done a great job, overall too. It used to not be very controversial to absolutely vote for these kinds of people just because it happens to be the opposite party. Right now, our entire party's we're defined by TDS. If he comes out for X, we're absolutely going to be anti-X, or we're going to say that and describe that as the worst thing. It's just not true. We have to find a way to work together, and we can agree on some things, and we're going to disagree on other things, as I've done.
And because you just mentioned voting for Marco Rubio, there's a video that has gone viral. It popped up overnight. You served with Rubio in the Senate. This video that we have on screen now, he's playing DJ at a family wedding this week. We've seen President Trump playing DJ as well. Did you have any idea that so much of our country's diplomacy is being handled by part-time DJs?
No, I think he. I mean, I don't know what's on his hit list, but no, what I can say is that I think he's done a really strong job to represent America's interests all across the globe, and that's one of the reasons why I voted for him. And now that's why things are. I voted for Mark Wayne too to be the new secretary, but I also called Noam, she has to go. So I call balls and strikes. Yeah, I'll be that Democrat, and I'm never going to use the extreme terms or attack other people just simply because they're in the different party. I noticed that my good friend Dave McCormick's coming on the show. So I mean, we get along, we work together, we fight for Pennsylvania, not fight against each other. We fight for wins for Pennsylvania and fight for our country. That's the way the job should work.
It is, and it seems like there's 90-ish people over in the Senate who sometimes forget that. And so we appreciate you coming on to share your very unique insight, because as Pennsylvania goes, so goes the country, really. John Fetterman, thank you.
No, thanks for having me on.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.